Welcome to this custom deep dive. What if I told you that the broccoli sitting in your crisper drawer right now is like biologically inert?
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. Unless you physically damage it before you apply heat,
Hmm.
you are actively boiling away its most potent health benefits.
Right. And if you're listening to this, you're probably the kind of person who really wants to get the absolute most out of what you put into your body.
Exactly. But you also don't want to, wade through a mountain of biochemistry research just to figure out how to make a Tuesday night dinner.
No, nobody has time for that. So we've got a massive stack of fascinating nutritional science in front of us, and our mission for this deep dive is to extract the actionable insights.
Yeah, we are moving way beyond that generic eat your greens advice.
Yeah.
We really want to uncover the actual molecular science and the specific kitchen hacks that unlock broccoli's true potential.
And the timing on this is perfect, honestly. As the weather cools down and autumn settles in, our bodies just naturally crave a shift in diet.
Oh, totally. We move away from those light, hydrating summer fruits, and we start seeking out earthy, nutrient-dense foods, the kinds of grounding foods that prepare our immune systems for the colder months.
Yeah, and right at the top of that fall harvest list is pretty much the crown jewel of the cruciferous vegetable family.
Broccoli, it's the classic staple. But I think people tend to look at it as just a vehicle for cheese sauce, right?
Yeah.
Or just as mandatory side dish.
Guilty as charged, honestly.
Right. But when you actually look at the clinical research, you realize you aren't just dealing with a simple vegetable. You are dealing with highly active, highly volatile biochemistry.
Yeah, based on the sources we're looking at today, the best way I can describe it is that broccoli is sort of like a superhero hiding in plain sight in the produce aisle.
I like that analogy.
Like on the outside, it looks completely ordinary, but it's hiding this incredible capability that is literally just waiting to be activated by you, the cook.
Yeah, a superpower that isn't always turned on is a great way to frame it, because that is the literal biological reality of a whole, intact broccoli floree.
Wait, really? So it's dormant?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The compounds that make it so uniquely powerful, they aren't just sitting there ready to be absorbed into your bloodstream. They require a catalyst.
Okay, let's unpack this because we need to understand the mechanism here. How does this activation actually work?
Well, the star of the show, the superpower itself, is a compound called sulforaphane.
Right, sulforaphane. But if I'm reading this right, sulforaphane doesn't even exist in the raw vegetable.
It doesn't. You can analyze a pristine, completely untouched head of broccoli in a lab, and you will find zero sulforaphane.
Zero. That's crazy.
Yeah, zero. Instead, the sulforaphane is the end result of a very sophisticated plant defense mechanism. The plant manufactures two completely different components and keeps them strictly segregated from each other.
Okay, so it's a two-part system. First, you have the sulfur-containing compound called glucoraphanin.
Right? Glucoraphanin. And second, there's an enzyme called myrosinase.
Myrosinase, got it.
And as long as the plant tissue is whole, the glucoraphanin and the myrosinase just sit in separate cellular compartments. They are physically walled off from one another.
It makes me think of those glow sticks you buy for a concert.
Oh, yeah, the plastic ones.
Yeah. You have the plastic tube, and inside is this tiny glass vial with one chemical surrounded by a second chemical. The glow stick doesn't do anything until you bend it, break that internal glass, and allow the two chemicals to finally mix.
That is the exact mechanism, that compartmentalization.
Sure.
For broccoli, breaking the glass happens when the plant sustains tissue damage.
So like in nature, that would be a caterpillar taking a bite out of a leaf or something.
Exactly. And in your kitchen, it happens when you chop, chew, or slice the raw vegetable. When you break those cellular walls, the glucoraphanin and the myrosinase rush together.
Ah, okay.
The myrosinase enzyme catalyzes the reaction, and instantly, sulforaphane is created.
So by simply taking a knife to it on the cutting board, we are the catalyst. We are deliberately triggering this chemical reaction.
Yeah, we are deliberately setting off the plant's alarm system.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here is what happens inside your body once that newly formed sulforaphane enters your system.
What does it do? Because it's not just a standard vitamin, right?
No, not at all. It doesn't function like a standard vitamin. It acts as a signaling molecule. It literally flips a very specific genetic switch inside your cells.
Yeah, the sources refer to this as the NRF2 pathway. Walk us through how that works, because this seems like the absolute key to the whole puzzle.
So NRF2 is a protein that exists in your cells, but it usually just sits dormant in the cellular fluid, bound to another protein that acts as an inhibitor.
It's essentially handcuffed.
Handcuffed is a great word for it. When sulforaphane enters the cell, it breaks those handcuffs. It alters the structure of the inhibitor protein, which releases the NRF2.
And then what happens when it's free?
Once NRF2 is free, it travels straight into the nucleus of the cell and binds directly to your DNA.
Wait, so it's actively changing how our DNA expresses itself?
Yes, it binds to something called the antioxidant response element. Think of it as a master control board for your cellular defense.
Good.
We are so used to the idea that we have to eat exogenous antioxidants,
Yeah.
right? Like drinking pomegranate juice to neutralize free radicals.
Right, everyone always talks about eating more antioxidants.
But your body actually has the blueprints to manufacture its own endogenous antioxidants, like glutathione. And those are millions of times more effective than the ones you eat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the NRF2 pathway is like the foreman that tells your cells to start building them.
That is a massive paradigm shift. I mean, the broccoli isn't just delivering a few antioxidants. It is giving our cells the instructions to manufacture our own heavy-duty defense network.
Exactly. And it goes way beyond just antioxidants. Activation of the NRF2 pathway supercharges your cellular detoxification processes.
Which we all need.
For sure. And it dramatically downregulates chronic inflammation at the molecular level. It clears out cellular waste and patches vulnerabilities that can lead to long-term oxidative stress.
So it really is like an internal security system upgrade. You trigger the glow stick reaction on the cutting board, you create the sulforaphane, and then that compound hits your cells, breaks the handcuffs off the NRF2 protein, and just initiates this massive biological upgrade.
That's a perfect summary.
Yeah.
But the volatility of that chemical reaction on the cutting board is where things get really tricky.
Right. Because it's sensitive.
Because if it's a dynamic enzymatic reaction, the specific conditions in your kitchen dictate whether or not it actually happens.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, because I have definitely been sabotaging this process for years without even knowing it.
Well,
We have to talk about the vulnerability of this system, specifically when it comes to heat.
yeah, the heat. The vulnerability is entirely centered on that enzyme, the myrosinase.
Because it's a protein, right?
Exactly. Enzymes are proteins, and proteins are highly sensitive to extreme heat. Think about what happens when you drop a raw egg into a hot frying pan.
It turns white and solidifies.
Right, the clear proteins instantly denature, they fold up, and turn into a solid white mass. You can't uncook the egg.
No, definitely not.
Well, the exact same thing happens to myrosinase.
So our stoves and our ovens are basically destroying the catalyst before it can even do its job.
Yes. If you take intact broccoli right out of the fridge, chop it, and immediately throw it into a blazing hot roasting pan, a deep fryer, or boiling water, you denature the myrosinase enzyme instantly.
Like immediately.
It is completely destroyed before it has the time to mix with the glutathione.
And if the myrosinase is dead, the glow stick never glows. The chemical reaction stops in its tracks, and you get absolutely zero sulforaphane.
Zero. You miss out on the entire NRF2 security upgrade. You'll still absorb, some basic minerals, but you completely lose the superhero compound. You've boiled it away.
But the research provides some food science hacks to get around this, which is the practical payoff for you listening right now. The first method to maximize sulforaphane production is this timing trick.
Yeah, this one is fascinating.
The data suggests you should chop your raw broccoli and just let it sit on the cutting board for 40 minutes before you apply any heat.
The 40-minute resting window. This is considered the absolute gold standard for sulforaphane synthesis in the literature.
Okay, wait, 40 minutes. Who has the time to chop their dinner an hour before they actually cook it? Is there a workaround for this?
I know.
Like on a lazy Sunday, maybe, but on a Tuesday night after work when people are hungry and just trying to get dinner on the table, that is a massive barrier to entry. Are we just doomed to either eat raw broccoli or wait an hour?
It's a very realistic pushback. The kinetics of the 40-minute rule are undeniable in a lab setting, though. It just takes time for the myrosinase to fully convert the glucoraphanin at room temperature.
Right.
The good news is, once the sulforaphane is fully formed, it is incredibly heat stable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. After 40 minutes, you can blast it in the oven and the compound remains totally intact. But you're right, for weeknight cooking, we need practical workarounds.
So what are the realistic alternatives for a busy listener?
There are two main ones. The first is altering how you apply the heat. If you don't have 40 minutes, you can chop the broccoli and lightly steam it for no more than 3 to 4 minutes.
Just a quick flash steam.
Yeah. A light steam operates at a low enough sustained temperature that it doesn't completely obliterate the myrosinase.
Okay.
It leaves just enough of the active enzyme intact so that the conversion can actually continue inside your digestive tract after you eat it.
Okay, 3 to 4 minutes of steaming is highly doable. But what if I hate the texture of steamed
A
vegetables?
lot of people do.
Right. I want my broccoli roasted. I want those crispy charred edges that you literally only get from 25 minutes in a 400-degree oven. But if I do that, the myrosinase is definitely dead. Is all hope lost?
Not at all. And this is where the biochemistry gets really fun.
I love fun biochemistry.
If you thoroughly cook the broccoli and destroy the plant's endogenous myrosinase, you can simply add a pinch of mustard powder to the cooked broccoli right before you serve it.
Wait, ground mustard powder, like the spice you buy in the baking aisle.
Yes, ground mustard seed. Mustard actually belongs to the exact same botanical family as broccoli, the cruciferous family.
Oh, I had no idea.
And mustard seeds happen to contain a highly robust, active form of the myrosinase enzyme that actually survives the grinding process.
Wait, can I just use regular yellow hot dog mustard from the fridge? Or does it have to be the dry powder?
You really want the dry ground mustard seed.
Why is that?
Wet prepared mustards often contain vinegar and have been heated or processed in ways that can denature the enzyme, just like your oven does. But the dry powder is loaded with active myrosinase.
So it's still alive in the powder.
Exactly. When you sprinkle that over your roasted broccoli, you are artificially reintroducing the exact enzyme that the oven destroyed.
That is brilliant. It's like getting a substitute teacher.
A substitute teacher.
Yeah. The extreme heat of the oven fired the original teacher, the broccoli's natural myrosinase. The classroom is in chaos. The reaction has stopped.
Okay, I see where you're going.
But then you sprinkle on the mustard powder, the substitute teacher walks in, and the reaction immediately starts running again in your stomach.
A substitute teacher is the perfect analogy. You are providing an external catalyst to rescue the surviving glucoraphanin.
And it doesn't take much, right?
No, just a tiny pinch will synthesize the sulforaphane, and it actually adds a really nice depth of flavor to the roasted vegetables.
That is a phenomenal, actionable hack. You get your crispy roasted edges, you get the NRF2 activation, and you skip the 40-minute wait time.
It bridges the gap between culinary reality and cellular science beautifully.
Okay, so sulforaphane is clearly the heavy hitter here. But if we are framing broccoli as the ultimate fall superfood, we need to look beyond just that one pathway. As we head into cold and flu season, what else makes up the broader nutritional payload of this plant?
Right, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, you realize that sulforaphane is just the vanguard.
Okay.
Broccoli contains a highly synergistic nutrient matrix that supports multiple systems in the body simultaneously, which is exactly what you need when seasonal shifts put your biology under stress.
So what are the specific mechanisms at play in that matrix? Let's break it down.
Let's start with vitamin C and A. We often hear about vitamin C for immune support, right?
Yeah, take your vitamin C when you have a cold.
But the mechanism is what's really important. When your white blood cells encounter a pathogen, they fight it by releasing reactive oxygen species.
Basically using oxidative stress as a weapon.
Exactly. But that weapon can cause collateral damage to your own tissues.
It's like friendly fire.
Right. Vitamin C is concentrated in these immune cells to protect them from their own exhaust. It allows your immune system to be aggressive without damaging your own biology.
Okay, so it's protecting our own cells from the crossfire. And what about vitamin A?
Vitamin A regulates cell differentiation, meaning it helps the body produce new, specialized immune cells at the exact rate required to mount a defense.
Oh, wow.
Together, they maintain the integrity of your respiratory barriers.
That makes perfect sense for autumn. But the sources also highlight vitamin K and calcium. And from what I understand, just taking calcium by itself doesn't actually guarantee strong bones.
That is a crucial point. Calcium by itself is essentially blind.
Blind? How so?
When it enters your bloodstream, it doesn't inherently know to go to your skeleton. If left to its own devices, it can actually deposit in your cardiovascular system and calcify your arteries.
Yikes. That doesn't sound good.
No, it's not. That is where vitamin K comes in.
So how does vitamin K change the equation?
Vitamin K activates a specific protein in the body called osteocalcin. Once activated, osteocalcin acts like a biological traffic cop.
Oh, I like that. A traffic cop.
It physically binds to the calcium in your bloodstream, directs it away from your soft tissues and arteries, and integrates it directly into the bone matrix where it actually belongs.
So the broccoli provides both the calcium and the vitamin K needed to activate that traffic cop, ensuring the mineral actually fortifies your structural density.
Exactly. It provides the materials and the logistics to get them to the right place. That is so much more effective than just swallowing a calcium supplement.
It is a complete delivery system.
It really is.
Yeah.
And rounding out that system is the robust dietary fiber content.
You know, fiber gets such a boring reputation. People just associate it with, well, digestion, but it plays a much larger role, doesn't it?
It is foundational to systemic health. The fiber in broccoli passes intact through your upper digestive tract and arrives in the colon, where it ferments.
And that fermentation is a good thing.
Very good. This fermentation process feeds your gut microbiome. The bacteria eat the fiber and produce byproducts called short-chain fatty acids,
Okay.
primarily one called butyrate.
What exactly does butyrate do?
Butyrate is the primary energy source for the cells lining your colon. It keeps the tight junctions of your gut barrier secure.
Which prevents toxins from leaking into your bloodstream, right?
Yeah,
Leaky gut and all that.
exactly. Furthermore, these short-chain fatty acids act as signaling molecules that communicate directly with your immune system.
Which is largely housed in the gut, right?
Yes, exactly. They modulate the immune response, ensuring it doesn't overreact and cause systemic inflammation.
So what does this all mean? When you synthesize all of these mechanisms, it's like broccoli provides the entire infrastructure for autumn wellness.
It really does.
Think of it like a multi-layered defense force. The vitamin C and A are managing the frontline immune response and dealing with collateral oxidative damage.
Yes.
The vitamin K is acting as the traffic cop, physically steering calcium into the bones to maintain structural integrity like
Right.
the engineers of the force.
Right.
And the fiber is generating short-chain fatty acids that keep the gut barrier tightly sealed while keeping the systemic immune response balanced, like a vital supply line.
It is an incredibly elegant biological package. It addresses acute immune needs, long-term cardiovascular and bone health, and the foundational gut microbiome all at once.
It really changes your perspective. Like, you start out looking at a piece of broccoli as a boring side dish, and you walk away realizing it's a piece of highly evolved biological technology.
It absolutely is.
We need to start wrapping up, so let's quickly distill the key actionable takeaways for you, the listener, so you can actually leverage this science in your own kitchen tonight.
The steps are surprisingly straightforward.
Number 1, sulforaphane is the master switch. Just remember that the combination of glucoraphanin and myrosinase creates this compound, which travels to your cells, releases the NRF2 protein, and forces your DNA to manufacture its own powerful internal antioxidants.
And number 2, you have to protect the catalyst. Myrosinase is destroyed by intense heat.
Right.
So to maximize sulforaphane, either use the 40-minute chop and wait hack to allow the reaction to finish before cooking, or flash steam it for 3 to 4 minutes.
And if you absolutely need it roasted and crispy, don't sweat it. Just deploy the substitute teacher hack.
Yes, the mustard trick.
Thoroughly cook your broccoli, and right before you eat it, sprinkle on a pinch of dry ground mustard seed powder to reintroduce the enzyme and instantly rescue the reaction.
It's so easy. And number 3, appreciate the broader nutrient matrix. You are getting the vitamin C and A for immune cell protection, the vitamin K and calcium synergy for bone density, and the crucial fiber to generate butyrate for a sealed gut barrier.
That is the whole point of this deep dive. The next time you are prepping dinner, you aren't just blindly following outdated nutritional tropes. You possess the actual food science to unlock your meal's peak potential.
Exactly.
You can bypass the confusion and confidently orchestrate these chemical reactions right on your cutting board.
You know, this raises an important question, though.
Oh, what is it?
It's related to a concept in evolutionary biology that really ties this all together, a phenomenon called xenohormesis.
Xenohormesis. Okay, what is that?
Well, we established earlier that the glucoraphanin and myrosinase reaction, that compartmentalized glow stick, evolved as a chemical defense mechanism for the plant.
Right.
Broccoli evolved this system to trigger when its tissue is damaged by a pest.
Right.
The resulting sulforaphane is actually slightly toxic to insects. It's designed to deter them from eating the plant.
Right. It's a biological deterrent to protect its territory.
Yes. But here's the paradox. We humans are deliberately mimicking that insect damage. We chop the plant to intentionally harvest that defensive compound.
Huh.
But instead of harming us, that tiny amount of plant stress compound acts as a beneficial stressor in our own bodies.
It's a beneficial stressor.
Yeah. It's just enough stress to wake up our NRF2 pathway and force our cells to build stronger defenses. The plant's stress response directly upgrades our resilience.
It's like we are hacking nature's defensive codes and repurposing them for our own longevity.
We are. And it leaves you with a fascinating thought to ponder long after you take your headphones off today. If the defense mechanism of a simple, everyday vegetable happens to be the exact biological key needed to unlock human cellular defense,
Right.
how many other plant stress mechanisms out there in the natural world are holding the blueprints for human health, just waiting for us to figure out how to crack the code?
Wow. That completely changes how you look at the natural world or even just the produce section of your grocery store. We are just surrounded by these intricate, hidden chemical codes.
We really are.
That is a brilliant concept to leave off on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you've enjoyed cracking the biochemistry of this everyday superhero. Next time you're standing in the kitchen, give that broccoli the strategic respect it deserves. Employ the mustard powder hack, keep your intercellular security system upgraded, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.